What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live, and we're here with another Jimmy Rants episode. If you missed my announcement yesterday, I am now uploading these Instagram Live videos that I've been doing up to YouTube, and that way they become forever, that you can go watch them on my YouTube channel. Very soon, I will tell you how you can access those. We're going to create a website that will redirect people directly to my YouTube channel, and you can see all the Jimmy Rants episodes that I'm doing here. But you guys watching live, you're getting to interact with it and in real time be able to talk about this with me. So I'm really happy to have all of you guys here today. So I'm going to type in today's topic, and we're going to get going here in just a minute. So thank you guys for being here. Yeah, my web guy, Hank, actually helped me figure out how to access these videos so that I could then download them and then to my laptop and then upload them to YouTube. So hang tight here, because today's topic is one that I think is really critical, especially on a Monday. Critical for people to feel like they have answers to, because unfortunately a lot of times we get into the world of keto, for example, and we think that we have certain parameters by which to measure how we're doing on our keto. And a lot of the parameters that people focus on are the exact wrong parameters. And so I wanted to talk about how you actually measure success when you go keto. So welcome in everybody. So I'm going to get started here. So many people come to a low carb, high fat, ketogenic diet, and their primary purpose in doing it, primary purpose, is weight loss. And there's certainly nothing wrong with having a goal like losing weight, and more specifically, people want fat loss, because I can lop off your right leg and help you lose a good chunk of change in your weight, but it doesn't make you healthier. So we're all seeking fat loss. We're all seeking to make that weight come off our body, right? I get those emails every day from people that talk about, oh, I went this way to lose weight and I'm struggling a little bit to have the weight come off. And my first response always back to them is, what are those other ways you're measuring success on keto? And 9 times out of 10, they go, well, I'm only doing it for the weight loss. Well, if you're only doing keto for the weight loss, can I tell you a dirty little secret? The dirty little secret is that is the wrong mentality about doing keto, and really, in this case, about doing any chosen diet. If your primary focus is something that is merely a side effect of getting healthy, then you've got your head on wrong. And I don't blame you, by the way, if you're one of those people that, well, Jimmy, it is about weight loss for me. I want weight loss. That's what I desire. Most of the time, the reason we desire that, most of the time, the reason we think we want that is because that's what our culture has told us. Oh, if you want to get healthy, you need to lose weight. And I want to switch those paradigms. I say, if you want to lose weight, you need to get healthy. And here's the really interesting thing. When you start measuring success on keto in things other than weight loss, your mindset changes dramatically. So rather than being a slave to the scale, you now have other means for measuring your success that are totally unrelated to your weight. Because sometimes in a lot of people, weight is the last thing that gets better. Meanwhile, leading up to that weight starting to come off is all this healing that takes place in your body. So we all come at this from a very different perspective. I think back to when I weighed 410 pounds. I was on 3 prescription medications for high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and respiratory issues. I was not in a good place, obviously, with my diet. I was drinking 16 cans of Coca-Cola a day, whole boxes of Little Debbie snack cakes a day, and fast food, and all the junk food that packed on the pounds and made me incredibly unhealthy. So when I came into the low-carb Atkins diet first, then later real food paleo, through the low-carb prism, and now keto, when I came into it, I was already damaged goods. And so I try to remind people, you didn't get to where you were that made you go keto overnight. You got there through probably many years of failed diets, many years of binge eating and eating the wrong kind of foods, what I call crappy garbage. You got there because of choices that you made in your past, and you don't magically fix all of those things, especially as it relates to your weight loss, when you switch over to keto. So you develop insulin resistance, and even eating keto can sometimes, in some people, be a difficult road to lose weight. And you've got to be okay with that as long as you're checking other markers. So let's talk about some of the other ways that you can measure your success on keto. If you're just joining us, this is a Jimmy Rants episode. We're now putting these on YouTube, and very soon I'll be sharing how you can access them on YouTube, but we're going to be doing a regular series on YouTube called Jimmy Rants. So I'll take a topic and we'll post it on YouTube, and you guys get to benefit being here live with me here on Instagram Live, and everybody else watching on the replay, either at Instagram Live within 24 hours or on YouTube, will get to access this content. So what are those other ways to measure for success on keto? I think a great one to look at is how you feel. Do you feel energetic? Do you feel like you could go literally all day long and possibly not even eat? Do you feel like, oh my gosh, my brain health is just so incredible. I can recall things. I'm really excelling at my work. My mood is stabilized. Guys, those are all telltale signs that you are getting huge benefits from eating keto. And those are all subjective signs, of course, but there are very objective signs that you can run as well in your blood. So you can test your blood sugar. If you're not already testing your blood sugar, go get you a glucometer and go start testing your blood glucose levels, because that will tell you where you are. Now, you've got to have context for the blood glucose when you start testing, and realizing that some people have higher morning readings, and that's okay within the context of other numbers. So run your blood sugar, but then also run an A1C. So this is the hemoglobin A1C test, and it's your average blood sugar levels at all times over the past 3 months. That number should be under 5.3. My most recent one was 4.9. So then you can also run for signs of inflammation. So you can run a blood test called an HSCRP, which is a key inflammatory marker in the body. All of these tests are extremely easy for your doctor to run, and if you ask for them, they should be able to run them for you. So HSCRP, key inflammation marker, and what it will tell you is your level of inflammation in the body, because here's the little tip of the day. If you don't have inflammation in the body, you cannot have chronic disease. You can't. Inflammation's at the heart of it all. And so regardless of what the disease is, chronic disease is, you can't develop chronic disease if you don't have inflammation levels. So then another test that you can have run that would be very helpful is fasting insulin. And that's one that I still deal with being a little bit elevated despite being keto and doing periods of intermittent fasting. I still have double-digit insulin. Now, on the very low end of double-digit, it's somewhere around 13, 14 right now as of the last test, but it's something ideally you want to be in the single digits, and optimally you want to have under 5. By the way, the HSCRP you want under 3, and optimally under 1. So these are some of the ways that you can measure your success on keto. But I mean, let's face it, guys, you know if you feel well or not. And if you're not feeling well, then perhaps there's something you're doing that needs to be tweaked. And this is another lesson. A lot of people say, well, I'm doing exactly what Jimmy Moore said in his book, Keto Clarity, to do, and I'm eating this ratio of carbs and fat and protein, and I'm not seeing the results that he's talking about. Okay, so if you actually read my book, then you would know that I told you to tinker and test around with all the macronutrients. There is no set one macronutrient ratio for everybody to do on keto. There's not. And so if you realize that, you quickly shift your thinking to saying, okay, what can I tweak? And in general, there's two things you can almost invariably do if you're having struggles in your ketogenic diet. You can lower carbs more, or you can increase fat more. Protein's going to be pretty set at right around 15-ish% of your calories for most people. So generally you're counting net carbs, and you should be counting total carbs, and we'll probably do a whole Jimmy Rants all on that subject sometime. And then you're not eating enough dietary fat. Now, I don't mean gobs and gobs of eating like lollipops of butter, but I do think sometimes the dieting mentality that we've been in for so long has forced our brains to repel against adding in more fat. So perhaps even just a little more fat in your diet would bump up your calories and would give you the success that you're looking for. And so if you're just joining us, guys, we're talking about how you measure your success on keto, and how most people, when they come into keto, they look at weight loss as the only parameter for whether they're doing well or not on keto. And I'm trying to shift that mindset a little bit here today, talking about all the other ways that you can measure success when you go keto. I'm very anxious to see what you guys have to say, so I'm going to scroll here a little bit. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Got a lot of great people here this morning. Thanks for being here. P Boy says, does your body just naturally stop losing when you have become your healthiest? My husband seems to be losing too much weight on keto. Thank you for that. That's a nice problem for your husband to have, by the way. I've never had that problem. Yes, your body very naturally, when it has healed and you're feeding it real whole foods and you're nourishing your body with really great quality foods that are in adequate amounts of calories, then your body will naturally fall into this state where it will fall into the healthy weight that you're supposed to be. So I don't know what losing too much weight on keto. It could be, P-Boy, that your perception is that he's losing too much weight because it's such a dramatic shift from what he used to weigh. And because of that, you're used to seeing him in a certain way, and now you're seeing him in this new way. Maybe the new way is more normal than you think, and you think it's too much. I actually had that when I lost 180 pounds in 2004. I had people come up to me and says, do you have cancer? I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, you look so emaciated. I'm like, no, I'm just smaller than what you know me as, but no, I do not have cancer. And yes, I'm incredibly healthier than I was. So it could be a perception thing. I would ask his friends, what they think as far as if he's lost too much. But kudos to him, because it does sound like he's put his body into a very healthy state. And I'm very proud of him. So let him know that I said that. All right, so we're going to keep scrolling here. If you're just joining us, we're talking about how you measure success on keto beyond just weight loss, which is what a lot of people just do. They do. They believe weight loss is the whole thing, and I'm going, stop it. Just don't do that. Keto Neogenesis, Christmas came early today. I found your Jimmy Rants. So yes, they are available right now if you go on YouTube and type in Jimmy Rants. And then I'm numbering the episodes 001, 002, so forth and so on. So go find them. But I'll have a direct link for you guys real soon. And this is going to be a regular feature on YouTube if you miss any of my lives. Let's see. Hello, hello. So the wholesome junkie, it's been super hard for me to lose weight. Luckily, my mind switched over to actually wanting my body healthy more than weight loss, and now started losing again. Go figure. That's actually very logical. And here's what happens. People go keto, for example, or really any diet, but let's stick with keto for now. They go keto, they lose a little bit of weight, and then they, quote, stall. They plateau. They don't understand what they're doing wrong. So then they're worried about it, and they step on the scale every day, and the angst and the anger and the emotion and everything that's tied to that stupid machine that's a lying liar that lies. Stress. That's what it induces. It brings on so much stress in people's lives that they don't even realize that when they stress like that, you might as well have eaten a big old slice of chocolate mousse, because it's adding on unnecessary strain on the body. So here's what happens when you stress. You raise cortisol levels. That raises blood sugar levels. That raises insulin levels. You shut down your fat burning mode of ketones because your body is in this what's called sympathetic state. So if your body's in a sympathetic state, which is a highly stressed out state, you can't let go of stored body fat. You can't be healthy because your body thinks it's in danger. So it literally holds on to every ounce of weight on your body as a survival mechanism. And people don't understand this aspect of it. They're like, oh, I should be, because my diet is this, I should be losing this. And what they don't realize is that obsession about the scale that's so intense and emotional and tied up and really causes them stress in their body. The body doesn't realize that's what you're stressing about. The body thinks you're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, and it's no time to be letting go of this energy when you're going to need it to deal with that tiger. That's what our DNA is telling us, is you have to be prepared if danger is there. So if you're worried about the scale, your body is responding as if you're being chased by prey. So let it go, like the wholesome junkies talked about here. Switch over from worrying about what your weight is doing and look at all these health markers of success that we've been talking about here today, and you'll see the pounds drop off more likely than not, like they have for the wholesome junkie. Welcome in, welcome in. So, Mutter Lori, wish people could see past what they think they have to give up on keto and focus on the benefits. Yes, sometimes people, and I've seen this, I've been at this for almost 15 years now. I have to give up bread and pasta and desserts and never have any of those things ever again. And I think what we do is we don't talk about what they give up. We accentuate and highlight the things they get to eat now. Because if they're trying to eat healthy in the traditional way, you're not eating very flavorful foods because you're cutting out almost all the fat in your diet. And so bacon is off the menu. Full fat meats and cheeses off the menu. Avocados off the menu, coconut oil off the menu, lard off the menu, pork rinds off the menu. And yet when you go keto, all of those things become a part of what your menu is now. And I was watching a video this morning on Instagram stories from my friend Keto Carly. Go follow her. She's a young lady who went keto, lost a ton of weight. And she said she didn't even know what a keto was, a ketogenic was, nothing. And it wasn't until she saw the list of foods that were available for this ketogenic diet thing that she went, well, I like most of those foods. And so when you realize and you get the buy-in factor of all the great, delicious, fatty, wonderful foods that you get to eat on a diet, there's a great buy-in factor. But yes, it is hard for a lot of people to let go of that. But the good news too is, if people miss bread, we have a lot of great recipe makers. Maria Emmerich has a really great recipe in our book, the Ketogenic Cookbook. I think it's only 2 or 3 ingredients to make this cloud bread, and it changes people's lives. They love that stuff, and they don't miss bread. And then the same with pasta. You start using zoodles and start doing all of those things to get rid of that in your life. And so it's about choices at the end of the day and getting people out of their normal day-to-dayness of how they eat. It's a challenge, but it's not impossible because all of us are proof positive that it can change. Our Valentine keto success, my mindset is much more positive, no more knee-jerk reaction. Yes. So yes, the knee-jerk reaction is you see a number on the scale and it's in the positive direction where you've gained weight and you freak out. And when you let go of that, and I tell people, take a sledgehammer to your scale, because it is a lying liar that lies, but it will so determine your emotions about all this, about how you're doing on your keto. And so we're talking about how you measure success on keto. If you're getting discouraged by testing your weight, then yes, sledgehammer it. I'll come to your house. I got a big old sledgehammer. I'll be happy to bust that thing to smithereens for you, because it's just causing more harm than good. Get these blood tests that we talked about a little bit earlier. And again, listen to your body and feel how you feel subjectively. You know if you feel good. You know if you're satiated and you don't have to eat very often because you're not hungry and there's no more cravings. You know when your brain health is on fire and your mood is stabilized. All those good things that happen when you go keto. Interesting theory on Robin's page yesterday, correlating stalls to the amount of time staying specific weight throughout their life. Yeah, and I'll tell you what's happened for me. When I lost my weight initially in 2004, I got down from 410 pounds to right around 300 pounds. And it was at that point that my weight loss stalled for 10 weeks in a row. And I was starting to get discouraged after 2-3 weeks. This was back in 2004. And I was like, what in the world am I doing wrong? And I said, well, I've lost over 100 pounds at this point. Let me stick with it for a little bit and see if this clears up. Well, thankfully it did clear up after 10 weeks. And what I noticed at the end of the 10 weeks was, while I did not lose a single pound on the scale, I ended up losing 6 inches off of my waist. And I was still feeling good, and I was still progressing towards being healthier. And it was at that point that the light switched in my head. This is not about weight loss. It's about health gain. And had that stall not happened and my mind start thinking about what was going on there, I might have said, well, screw this low carb Atkins thing. It doesn't work anymore. And yet I switched my mindset to, I'm doing this for health. I'm doing this even when the scale's not reaffirming me that I'm doing well. I'm doing well. And that's what I want to tell you guys today, that maybe you're one of those people that's stepping on your scale and you don't feel like you're doing well in your keto diet simply because of what the scale is telling you. Stop that right now. Realize if you feel good, if you're no longer craving, if you're able to go many hours between meals without eating, if your mood is relatively stabilized, if you've got all of these positive things that have happened subjectively to you, along with all the positiveness in the right direction of your blood markers, you are a success. You have succeeded already. Even if not another pound comes off your body, you are a success because of that. And yes, so back to my story about getting down to 300 and then it broke loose. Well, I've talked very openly about gaining back some weight despite being keto, with the challenges of being insulin resistant. And guess where my weight is kind of hovering? Right at 300 pounds. So it's almost like the body is saying, okay, this is the new homeostasis of where we like to be. And I'm trying to lower that, obviously. I'm trying to bring that weight back down to where I was at somewhat near my lowest weight when I went Atkins. I'm still going at it. The good news is I'm not over 100 pounds more than I was when I started all this. I'm still down well over 100 pounds from my very starting weight, and I'm very happy about that. But even more important than the weight, I'm very happy that as I'm approaching 47 years old in December, I feel so good right now, you guys, in my health, in my state of mind, in what I do, in just so many aspects of my life that I could not imagine ever not eating this way. And that's how I'm tracking my success is I'm not even remotely tempted to try something different than what I'm currently doing because what I'm doing is working for me. Even if the weight is a little bit of a struggle, I'm still measuring my success in other ways and I'm getting those benefits. All right. Rachel K973, when you lose weight too fast and your body doesn't get time to adjust, horrible things can happen. I have no feeling in my legs from the knees down because I lost weight too quickly. I haven't heard of that before, but I'm sorry that happened. I don't think that diet or weight loss alone necessarily causes anything like that, but thank you for sharing your story. Kat says, I know one guy who went from a skinny guy to skeleton covered with skin, 140 pounds for 6'1", went keto to boost performance. He's a Navy diver and most important to support his wife on her keto journey. Very rare. Yes. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Keto Neogenesis sledgehammer to the scale. Yes, it's the least effective way to measure size lost. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people say get out a tape measure and measure inches lost. And kudos to you if you want to do that and kind of track that. To me, even inches lost kind of puts you in that mentality like stepping on the scale. I'm more very intuitive at this point in my life of, okay, I'm doing all the right things in the diet. So what are the other things in my life that I'm doing lifestyle-wise, hormonal control-wise, those kinds of things that I can do to try to help move things in the right direction? Because a scale and using a measuring tape, all of those things that keep you in that dieting mentality. And I left that in my rearview mirror many years ago. Keto is a thinking man's lifestyle. I couldn't think straight before it. Yes, it helps you think better. And I really love doing podcasts when I'm in a highly ketogenic state because my brain is on fire. And it's so funny. I almost have to like quelch down all of the thoughts that come in my head when I'm interviewing someone because I have so many thoughts come at the same time that I'm like, okay, which one will people want to hear most about? Oh, wait, he moved into another direction. And now I've got another 5 questions that I could ask. So it's good and it's bad in some ways because I can think clearly. I don't have to prepare questions, and I never do for my podcast, by the way. I just have conversations. And so whatever comes into the mind and having that keto mind definitely helps. Fire Wolf Ashton says weight is just a number. Optimum health is what we need to focus on. You got the message today, Ashton. Thanks for articulating that. Even heavier people who are doing keto look different than overweight people not on keto. There's a sparkle in their eye and a look of health. I have had several people write to me and say, I know you're dealing with extra weight, but man, do you have vitality when you're on camera? And I'm like, well, that's because on the inside, I am healthy. And I have all those markers of health that would show that I would be healthy. The only thing is you got to tell my body that. And so, yeah, you're right. It does happen. All right, guys, that's all I had to share in today's episode of Jimmy Rants. And like I said, very soon we're going to be posting a link where you can go and listen and watch all of these Jimmy Rants episodes. I'm doing a bunch of these now lately, so go watch the brand new segment Jimmy Rants on YouTube. If you want to go look it up, Jimmy, second word Rants, and you will find these. And yeah, share them on Facebook, put them out there, and we're going to be committed to being here on Instagram Live doing these Jimmy Rants for you exclusively. So if you want to interact, be here on Instagram Live. I'm at Livin' Low Carb Man for those watching on YouTube. If you want to go follow me on Instagram. All right, guys, that's it. And we'll talk again real soon. Bye.